So the holidays are approaching. You may be stuck at home without your family or stuck at home with your family. Might be worse, let's be honest. And you have a lot of time and you want to do something useful. So then you've come to the right video. My name is Sven Heydenreich. I am a PhD student at the Argalanda Institute for Astronomy in Bonn. And today I will tell you how you can contribute to scientific projects just at home with your computer, or if you have it with your equipment. So the first page to go to if you want to do this would be Zooniverse or SciStarter. These are citizen science project pages where actually a lot of projects are listed, where amateurs can help discover new objects, classify things, and so on. For example, what you can do is you can look at images that were taken by Mars rovers and you can classify them into, is this sand? Are these rocks? Is this dangerous? Can the rover drive there? And actually help us determine which terrains are safe for Mars rovers and which aren't. And yeah, bring forward Mars exploration with your work. You can classify galaxies. It's a relatively famous project, Galaxy Zoo, where you just get images of galaxies. You say first, are these galaxies? And then what types of galaxies are these? You can also look at images, at astronomical images, and try to determine if you can find the elusive planet 9. I mean, if you're very, very lucky, you might be the person to discover planet 9. Another really cool project that is not part of these websites is from the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory. That is a satellite in space that observes the sun. However, it blocks out the actual sun with a disk. And so what you see are the surroundings of the sun. And sometimes the sun illuminates comets. There's a really cool video of the prettiest comets up here in the corner. These are not the interesting ones, though, because there are some faint ones that are really, really hard to spot. And they have maybe not even been detected that yet. So with this citizen science project, the SOHO managed to detect and classify 4,000 new comets that have not been seen before, which is really, really cool. You can just download the data, look at it. If you spot a comet, you might be the one who discovered it. You might be asking yourself, why do we need this? Don't we have computers to do this? The thing is, computers are notoriously bad to spot moving objects against a moving background with the presence of image artifacts. So this is just something that humans are much, much better at. And so scientists actually need your help to discover and classify these objects. So now assume you don't just have your computer and some time, but you actually have a small amateur telescope and maybe even a DSLR camera. Then there are two projects from the American Association of Variable Star Observers where you can actually help. The first is to observe and classify the brightness variations of variable stars, which then help us determine the distance to them. Another one that I personally find a bit cooler is the Transiting Exoplanet Service Satellite. That is a satellite that observes some stars and sees if they have exoplanets. However, it has a lot of stars to observe. When it observes a transit, you often need to confirm it. So you need to observe the star and see if the transit happens again. The test satellite itself cannot do that. And so we need to do follow-up observations. All these stars, both these variable stars and the stars with the exoplanets, are relatively bright. So you don't need the 10-meter professional telescopes to see them. Small amateur telescope is enough. And so you can actually help co-discover an exoplanet. The caveat is this takes some time. You need to get certified. The scientists there need to make sure that you know how to take these observations, that you know how to analyze your data. But once you're certified, you can do your own observations and help discover exoplanets. So if you have the time and you think this would be something cool for you, go for it. Okay, moving on to my personal favorite, the International Occultation Timing Association, or short IOTA. When we try to observe an asteroid in space and we look at it with a telescope, we just see a bright spot because asteroids are notoriously small. We cannot determine its size, we cannot determine its shape. It's impossible even with the best telescope. However, we have something even better. We have background stars, because background stars are tiny. The physical extent that stars seem to have when you look at them just comes from the blurring of the atmosphere. And so when you look at a star and it blinks out and then blinks back in, because an asteroid moves through this star, you can actually measure the size of that asteroid. And when people all over the world from different locations do the same observations and just measure when a star blinks out and when it comes back, then you can actually determine the shape of asteroid. And that is impossible with even the best telescopes. However, just a collection of amateurs can do that. And with that, actually, some people managed to discover that an asteroid has a moon. So they looked at a star, it blinked out, it came back, and then it blinked out again. And that confused everyone because that was, of course, not what they had expected. And yeah, so now this small group of people that just did these observations discovered that an asteroid has a moon. And if you think this might be something for you, I can only implore you, go for it. Last but not least, if you want to get more engaged in the astronomical community, for example, you don't have a telescope, but you still want to do observations. If you live in Bonn, there is the Volkssternwarte Bonn, where you can become a member of. But all over the world, there are local astronomical clubs that usually have their own equipment. And for a really, really small fee, you can become a member and use their equipment, take part in lectures, and just become more engaged with fellow amateur astronomers and share your passion with the world.